Georgia had a great game. No, Georgia had an amazing game. Michigan had their worst game. But listen, it comes down to scheming sometimes, and a lot of time, really, especially in the NFL. But in college, when you have two evenly matched teams, it's going to come down to the scheme. Georgia is a little bit more talented than Michigan. I get it. But still, when it comes down to teams like Georgia and Michigan, they both want to set the tone early. It's going to be who can do it better, and Georgia obviously did it better today. It's not a fluke. I was seeing, like, because I go on Instagram sometimes and Twitter, and people were saying it could have been like a fluke, blah, blah, blah. It was not a fluke. Georgia just manhandled Michigan. Georgia would beat Michigan almost every time that they would play. And there were a lot of Michigan fans in the Orange Bowl today. I mean, how many were there? Like, I would probably say, and then looking at the stadium now, it was probably 60-40. I would say it was 60% Michigan fans. Michigan fans travel, you better believe, especially when they're good. Michigan had a really good season, but it comes down, like I said earlier, it comes down to scheming. And Georgia's, and Kirby Smart especially, his 3-4 defensive scheme works really, really well against the rush, especially laterally, and that's what Michigan does best. But then you look at the offensive side, and this was a little bit of a head-scratching thing, especially with Michigan. And Michigan's burning timeouts. I don't know what that's about. There's 3:21 left. So, I mean, this quarter has been going on for 50 minutes, man. Anyway, I guess they want to make it look better. I don't know. But what was I saying? I keep losing track because I'm watching the game. Oh, yeah, offensively, you got to give credit to Todd Monken. And like I said, Stetson Bennett and all the players, offensive line. But those play calling, especially in the first quarter, they were phenomenal. I mean, he's got Brock Bowers, and he enables pretty much everybody on the field, by the way. That's what good spread coordinators do well. And that's what Todd Monken does best at UGA, at spreading the ball out. We are going to get the ball to all of our playmakers, and we have a lot of playmakers. Just naming a few. Just going back to the first drive, we ran that tight end wheel route that we like doing. We just did a flip and a wide receiver. We do this every now and then. A fake handoff sweep and pitch it to the wide receiver, to Ladd McConkey. He gets very creative, and that's what Todd Monken does best. He's one of the 5 best offensive minds in all of college football right now. A lot of Georgia fans were hating on him because of the Alabama game. The Alabama game could have been a fluke. And from watching this game and watching every other game, I kind of believe that. Watching Bama today, what'd Bama do today? They just ran the football. They couldn't really pass the ball well. Bama ran for 300 yards on Cincinnati. That's insane. But Cincinnati did a really good job in that pass defense. Especially because they have a really good defensive back core. But watching Bama today, Bryce Young struggled. And when you get pressure on Bryce Young, he doesn't really do well. Georgia just didn't do that. Georgia was rushing 3 to 4, maybe even 5 guys at a time. 5 guys versus Bama's 5 offensive line. Bama's 5 offensive line were winning every time. And it wasn't like Georgia ever got to Bryce Young. They didn't. They had 0 sacks in that game. But the game plan for that will be something similar to this, as you saw today. I'm talking about offensively. We are going to spread the ball out. Stetson Bennett is going to have to throw for a lot against Alabama. The difference is he can't make any turnovers, and the difference defensively is we are going to have to rush and pressure Bryce Young. Brian Robinson didn't do much against us. He had that one really, really, really good run that was off a pitch from basically Bryce Young made the play anyway. But Brian Robinson had like 2.6 yards per carry or something like that. That's nothing. If you look what he did today, he had over 200 yards rushing. He was averaging like 5 or 6 yards per carry. But they were hard-earned 5-6 yards. I mean, he's running over Cincinnati guys, breaking tackles. And he won't be. I don't expect him to be much of a factor in this game.